So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to troubleshoot a CD1500P and how to do the annual maintenance kit on it. So you first want to remove the cover. So what this unit is composed of, you have a 420 milliamp board controller, you have your pressure gauge, you have your drive system, you have your power supply, and you have your reaction chamber. So for this unit to work, you have to satisfy the pressure switch. We recommend 8 psi to satisfy the pressure switch. Once you satisfy the pressure switch, it will bypass the 420 milliamp controller and it'll go into manual, which then you will control it with your potentiometer. Make sure it's turned all the way to the right so it's producing. So once you give power to the unit, and if you have an older unit, you're gonna have a cover switch you have to press down on. Your drive boards will get your 2 lights. You have a red light here because you have not satisfied the pressure switch yet. Once you turn on your oxygen concentrator, you satisfy it, and then it'll kick on the drive. So once you let it start ramping up, once it tries to hit 100, if you get that red fault light, there's usually 3 things that are wrong with it. It's going to be a bad drive board, bad transformer, or you have broken glass in your chamber, or it's arcing somewhere here. So then I'll show you how to fix all those 3, or to check to see what is going on with it. So first I'm going to show you how to check if your transformer has gone bad. So first you want to unmount the transformer, which are these 4 screws right here. You want to save your screws. You want to disconnect here. You want to disconnect this blue wire. Disconnect here. Then you can pull the drive board out. You want to disconnect your chamber from the transformer. And you want to do a little shake test to it. You have to unground the transformer before doing so. You pull it out. So you want to hold everything close to you. If you shake it, if you hear a slushy noise, I don't know if you guys can hear it, pull it next to your ear, shake it. If you hear any slush in there, that means the transformer is bad. That's most likely why we're getting that fault light. But I still recommend you looking in, taking your chamber and doing the maintenance to it, which is pulling both end caps out. Make sure you don't have broken glass, or if it's dirty, clean it out, and I'll show you how to do that in the next step. So this is clearly a bad transformer. So this is why we're getting the fault light most likely. And I'll show you how to rebuild the chamber next. So next I'm going to show you how to inspect your chamber and rebuild it with your maintenance kit. You'll receive O-rings, a little silicone tube, a fan filter, and an inline filter, which is FLT34. If you go up to your unit and you see this filter turning pink and it's no longer blue, it's a clear sign of a lot of moisture has been going into your unit. This is how it should look when it's brand new or when it's still in good shape. So if you have this color on your filter, most likely your unit needs the maintenance as well. So don't just swap out the filter and not do the maintenance on the unit. So you want to unmount the unit. You want to unmount this plate that's holding the 420 milliamp board to the chassis. You want to undo the 4 screws holding it down. Make sure you don't lose those nuts, as you do want to properly ground the chamber once you're done. And you want to disconnect the lines, which you're going to need a 5/8 and a 9/16 wrench. 9/16 for the stainless steel side, and 5/8 for this side, for the Kynar. So once you have it, the line's disconnected, you go ahead and pull it out. The chamber should come out. So I'm going to be showing you how to rebuild your chamber. You want to remove all 4 screws from each end cap. You want to get a flathead screwdriver and just push the end cap out slowly without trying to break the glass. You pull out. This one has broken glass in it, so that's definitely going to give you that red fall light. So, and if you ever do maintenance to a cell that's this dirty and this in bad of a shape, I do recommend you going through our core exchange program, which allows you to send in your old core and we'll replace it with the rebuilt core. So if you do go through our core exchange, you'll receive a chamber with literature and an extra con that you're going to use to install it, and this is how you would do it. So you get your new chamber, you reinstall it, you mount all 4 screws, you mount back this plate, you go ahead and connect your lines again. I'm replacing the tubing in this case just because the green tubing is older style tubing that we no longer use. Go ahead and tighten it up. You go ahead and cut to length. This is DLV 30 if you need to order some to replace it on your unit. If it is an older unit, it needs replacing. Alright, and you want to go ahead and replace this filter with the new one that you will receive in your maintenance kit. You want to remove this fitting here. You receive a new one, make sure you remove both end orange caps that it comes with. Get a needle nose, pull it out. So you want to go ahead and Teflon the fitting that's going to adapt to. You want to Teflon the top fitting where you're going to adapt the Kynar fitting. So I would give it 3 to 4 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reinstall this fitting. Perfect. Same thing with the bottom one. 3 to 4 wraps. You readapt the filter here. It's going to be scraping against the SCFH gauge, which is fine. Just once you start it, then you can just start hand tying it. Once it's pretty much on there, reconnect the hose. Get your 5/8. Go ahead and tighten it to prevent any leaks so the unit does pressurize. So next, you end up with 12 inches of this high voltage wire. You want to just kind of measure it to where it's going to connect. Just give it a little bit of turning. You don't want to give it too much where it's going to arc to the chassis or to the cover. So just so it stays in the chassis, you cut it. So you always measure it to length, cut it, and then you strip back the high voltage wire. You're gonna get the con that you received in with your chamber. You're gonna crimp it on there. You're gonna reuse the boot, the high voltage boot, put it in there. So once you finish your maintenance, you received your new chamber, you re-crimped it, you made sure you cut the high voltage to length according to this unit. You don't want to be touching a chassis or the cover, so you cut it to length. You replaced hosing if you needed it. I replaced the transformer because this one was slushy. I did the shake test on it, reconnected all the connections, everything's back, it's mounted. So now we just have to satisfy the pressure switch, and this dry contact needs to be in play to satisfy the drive system to activate it. So we're going to go ahead and activate the cover switch. Fan kicks on, we get both green lights to kick on. We have our fault light here because we already have dry contact in place. Now we just got to satisfy this pressure switch. So we're going to turn on our oxygen unit or whatever you're using to pressurize your unit. Once we hit 8, it satisfies, red light goes away. We have our drive system kick on. So it's going to start ramping up. Once it hits 100, it'll stay at a high pitch noise. So there you go. Your unit's back to operation. It's producing ozone. And then you have you could always play with your pressure relief valve here. And as you can see, once it does not have the 8 psi minimum to activate the pressure switch, you do get a red fall here. So you always want to make sure you play with it so it's at least above 8. We recommend it at 10, 8 to 10. And then your unit's back to producing. And we no longer have a red fault light or a drive, it's producing at 100%. You have your potentiometer here, which you can control ozone output. That's 0, that's 100, and depending on how much ozone you want in your water. We always run it at 100, depending on how much ozone you need in your water.